The massive crystal halls of Kepler 442b echoed with the sound of marching feet. Supreme War Commander Thexval stood before the largest gathering of Vorthak warriors in their species' history. His tall, crystalline body gleamed under the pale light of their distant star as he addressed the 50,000 soldiers before him. "Today marks the end of our preparation," Thexval announced, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "For 127 of their years we have studied the humans. We know everything about them." The Vorthak had always been methodical. When they discovered Earth through their deep space telescopes, they did not rush to attack like other species might. Instead, they watched. They listened. They learned. Their scientists captured human radio signals that had traveled across space for decades. They studied human television shows, news broadcasts, and military communications. They analyzed every piece of space debris that floated away from Earth. They examined human satellites that had drifted too far from their home planet. General Kexmar stepped forward from the crowd of officers. His crystalline skin showed the scars of 17 successful planetary conquests. "Commander, our analysis teams have completed their final reports on human combat capabilities." Thexval nodded. The Vorthak had conquered 17 worlds before Earth. Each time they had spent years studying their targets, but never had they spent so much time preparing for a single invasion. "Tell us what we have learned," Thexval commanded. Kexmar activated a holographic display that showed the blue and green planet Earth. "The humans are a warrior species, but they are primitive. Their weapons are crude chemical explosives and metal projectiles. Their fastest aircraft cannot even leave their atmosphere without massive rocket systems." The display showed images of human soldiers, tanks, and fighter jets. To the Vorthak, these looked like toys compared to their own energy. "Weapons and faster-than-light ships. Their largest weapons are nuclear bombs," Kexmar continued. "But our shields can easily absorb such primitive energy releases. Our battle armor has been tested against weapons 10 times more powerful." Another officer, Captain Yethral, presented her findings. "We have studied their military tactics from their historical broadcasts. They fight in straight lines with simple strategies. Their generals make obvious moves. We have programmed our combat systems to counter every human battle plan from the last 200 years. The Vorthak training facilities had been busy for over a century. Warriors practiced fighting against holographic human soldiers. They learned to counter human weapons and tactics. They memorized the layouts of major Earth cities from satellite images that humans had broadcast into space." Thexval walked among his troops, inspecting their preparation. Each warrior wore advanced battle armor that could stop any known human weapon. Their energy rifles could cut through human tanks like paper. Their shields could deflect nuclear explosions. "We have studied their anatomy," announced Chief Scientist Dexmar. "Humans are fragile creatures. They break easily. They cannot survive in space without bulky protection suits. They need constant supplies of water and a specific mixture of gases to breathe." The scientist activated another display showing human medical scans that had been intercepted from space transmissions. "Their bones are weak calcium structures. Their skin provides no protection against energy weapons. A single shot from our rifles will disable multiple human soldiers." The warriors cheered. This would be their easiest conquest yet. Colonel Zextar presented the psychological analysis. "Humans are emotional and unpredictable. They make decisions based on feelings rather than logic. This makes them weak in battle. Our computers have analyzed thousands of hours of human behavior. We can predict their actions before they make them." For months, Vorthak strategists had run battle simulations. In every scenario, human forces were completely defeated within 72 hours. The humans simply had no weapons or tactics that could challenge Vorthak technology. Thexval reviewed the invasion plan one final time. "We will strike their major technology centers first. The city called Sol produces much of their advanced electronics. Once we control their technology, the rest of the planet will surrender quickly." The plan was perfect. 50,000 warriors would descend on Earth in 12 massive assault ships. They would land simultaneously in major cities across the planet. Human governments would have no time to coordinate a response. "Our weapons are charged and ready," reported Weapons Master. Hicksnull. Each rifle carries enough energy to level a human building. Our heavy weapons can destroy their military bases from orbit. The Vorthak had even prepared for human nuclear retaliation. Their ships carried shield generators powerful enough to protect entire cities. If humans tried to use their most powerful weapons, the Vorthak could simply absorb the attacks and continue their invasion. Training Commander Rexaval presented the final combat statistics. Our warriors have completed over 10,000 hours of anti-human combat training. Each soldier can defeat 50 human fighters. Our battle computers have studied every human military manual that has ever been broadcast into space. The Vorthak knew everything about human weapons, tactics, and capabilities. They had studied human history, psychology, and technology. They understood human weaknesses and had prepared counters for every possible human strategy. Thexval raised his ceremonial weapon above his head. "Warriors of the Vorthak Empire, we go now to claim our 18th world. The humans cannot stand against our might." The crystal halls erupted in cheers as 50,000 warriors marched toward their waiting ships. Outside, the massive invasion fleet prepared for departure. Each ship was the size of a human city, carrying enough firepower to destroy continents. As the fleet launched into space, Thexval felt the satisfaction of perfect preparation. Never before had the Vorthak spent so much time studying an enemy. The humans would be completely surprised. Their primitive weapons would be useless. Their simple tactics would fail against superior Vorthak strategy. The journey to Earth would take several months, but Thexval was patient. Soon, the blue planet would join the Vorthak Empire. The humans would learn to serve their new masters, just as 17 other species had learned before them. In the command ship, final preparations continued. Warriors cleaned their weapons and reviewed attack plans. Scientists double-checked their data on human capabilities. Everyone was ready for the easiest conquest in Vorthak history. The invasion fleet disappeared into the darkness of space, carrying the most prepared military force in galactic history toward their date with destiny on Earth. Captain Lee Taemin stared at the radar screen in disbelief. The green dots showing up on his display were massive beyond anything he had ever seen. Each contact was larger than the International Space Station, and there were dozens of them approaching. "Earth's solar system. Run the scan again," Lee ordered his radar operator. "This has to be an equipment malfunction." Private Kim Subin ran the deep space sensors through a complete diagnostic cycle. The results came back the same. "Sir, the contacts are real. 12 large objects approaching from the direction of Kepler 442. They're moving at incredible speed." Lee felt his heart sink. For weeks, radio telescopes around the world had been picking up strange signals from deep space. Scientists thought they might be natural phenomena. But now the truth was clear. Earth was about to receive visitors, and they were not coming in peace. "Get me Admiral Kim Woo-bin immediately," Lee commanded, "and patch me through to all global defense networks." Within minutes, military commanders around the world were staring at the same impossible radar contacts. The objects were still millions of kilometers away, but they were approaching fast. At their current speed, they would reach Earth orbit in less than 6 hours. Admiral Kim Woo-bin stood in the Global Defense Command Center in Seoul, surrounded by officers from every major military power on Earth. The room buzzed with nervous energy as experts tried to make sense of what they were seeing. "Analysis report," the Admiral demanded. Lieutenant Park Soo-jin stepped forward with her tablet. Her hands shook slightly as she read the data. "Sir, we're tracking 12 massive objects, each approximately 5 kilometers long. Their energy signatures are off our measurement scales. They're using some kind of propulsion system we don't understand." Colonel Yang Hye-jin pointed to the tactical display. "Admiral, at their current approach vector, they'll reach Earth orbit, directly above Seoul. That can't be a coincidence." The Admiral nodded grimly. Seoul was the technological heart of South Korea, home to major electronics companies and advanced research facilities. If aliens were coming to Earth, targeting Seoul would make strategic sense. "Have we tried to make contact?" Kim Woo-bin asked. Communications Officer Choi Min-ho looked up from his station. "Sir, We've been broadcasting on all frequencies for the past hour. Standard first contact protocols, mathematical sequences, even basic music. No response. Then, everything changed. The speakers throughout the command center suddenly crackled to life. A voice spoke in perfect Korean with no accent or translation errors. The words were clear and precise, as if spoken by a native Seoul resident. People of Earth, this is Supreme War Commander Thexaval of the Vorthak Empire. Your planet has been selected for integration into our galactic civilization. You will surrender immediately and prepare for occupation. Resistance is futile. You have 1 hour to respond with your unconditional surrender. The message repeated in flawless English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, and dozen other languages. Each version was spoken by what sounded like a native speaker of that language. Sergeant Nam Ji-woo, monitoring communications, looked pale. Sir, they know our languages perfectly. They sound like they've been speaking Korean their whole lives. Admiral Kim studied the displays showing the approaching alien fleet. Each ship was massive enough to carry thousands of troops. Their technology was clearly far beyond anything Earth could produce. Fighting them would be hopeless. Open a channel, the Admiral ordered. The communications array broadcast Earth's response into space. Admiral Kim spoke carefully, knowing that billions of people would hear his words. This is Admiral Kim Woo-bin of Earth's Global Defense Force. We are not prepared to surrender without discussion. We request a meeting between our representatives to discuss peaceful alternatives. The alien response came immediately, again in perfect Korean. Admiral Kim, your military capabilities are well known to us. We have studied your species for over a century. You possess primitive chemical weapons, crude nuclear devices, and simple projectile systems. Our technology is superior in every way. Surrender now and avoid unnecessary destruction. Lieutenant Park pulled up Earth's defense inventory on her screen. The aliens were right. Earth's most advanced fighter jets would be like insects against starships that could cross interstellar space. Nuclear weapons might seem powerful to humans, but any species capable of faster-than-light travel probably had defenses against such primitive weapons. They've been watching us for a century, Colonel Yang whispered. They know everything about our weapons, our tactics, our capabilities. Private Lee So-young monitored the alien fleet's approach. Sir, they're entering Earth's gravitational field now. All ships maintaining perfect formation. Estimated time to solar orbit, 43 minutes. Around the world, military bases activated their highest alert levels. Fighter jets scrambled into the air, though everyone knew they would be useless against such advanced technology. Nuclear submarines surfaced and aimed their missiles at the sky. Ground-based defense systems powered up their radar arrays. Captain Bae Young-ho coordinated with international forces. All global defense networks are online, Admiral. Every weapon we have is ready to fire. But sir, honestly, what can we do against ships that size? Admiral Kim stared at the tactical display. The alien ships were slowing as they approached Earth. They moved with perfect precision, like they had done this many times before. Their formation suggested a well-practiced invasion fleet. They mentioned integration into their galactic civilization. Communications Officer Choi noted, maybe they're not planning to destroy us completely. No, replied intelligence analyst Oh Hae-rin, reviewing the alien communications. They said, occupation. They want to conquer us, not negotiate with us. This isn't first contact, this is an invasion. The alien commander's voice filled the command center again. Admiral Kim, your preparation time is ending. Our sensors detect your military forces moving into position. We advise against resistance. Our shields can absorb your nuclear weapons. Our armor can withstand your projectiles. Your aircraft cannot reach our altitude. Surrender now and your people will be treated fairly under Vorthak rule. Lieutenant Park ran calculations on her computer. Sir, they're right about our capabilities. Our best missiles can't reach their current altitude. Our fighters can't fly in space. Even if we could reach them, we have no idea how powerful their defenses are. The alien fleet had reached Earth orbit and was positioning itself directly above Seoul, just as predicted. The ships blocked out part of the sun, casting shadows over the city below. Millions of people looked up at the sky, seeing alien starships with their own eyes. 15 minutes until they begin landing operations, reported Private Kim. Sir, what are your orders? Admiral Kim looked around the command center at his officers. These men and women represented Earth's best military minds, but they all knew the truth. Earth's defenses had been designed to fight other humans, not advanced alien civilizations. All units maintain defensive positions, the Admiral ordered. If they want Earth, they'll have to take it. We might not win, but we'll show them that humans don't surrender easily. The alien ships began launching smaller craft toward Earth's surface. The invasion had begun. Sergeant Choi Min-ho watched his radar screen as 12 massive alien dropships separated from the main fleet and began their descent toward Seoul. Each ship was the size of a city block, and they were coming down fast. Contact, contact, Choi shouted into his radio. 12 large alien craft entering atmosphere directly above downtown Seoul. Speed is incredible. Estimated landing in 4 minutes. Captain Yang Hye-jin scrambled her fighter squadron, though she knew it was probably useless. Her F-16 jets screamed into the sky, racing to intercept the alien ships before they could reach the ground. But as her pilots climbed toward the descending dropships, something strange happened. Flight Leader Yang, this is Pilot Park, came a confused voice over the radio. The alien ships they're flying erratically. The lead ship just veered, off course. Yang checked her instruments. The alien ship that had been descending in a perfect straight line toward Seoul's city center was now wobbling through the air like a drunk pilot. Confirm that, Park, what do you see? Ma'am, the alien ship is all over the sky. It's like the pilot can't control it. Wait, another one is spinning. Ma'am, I think they're crashing. In the Global Defense Command Center, Lieutenant Park Soo-jin stared at her tracking display in amazement. The alien ships that had been descending with perfect precision were now spiraling out of control. Their neat formation had broken apart completely. Admiral, Park called out, I'm reading massive course corrections from the alien fleet. They're not flying in formation anymore. 3 ships have already deviated from their planned landing zones. Admiral Kim Woo-bin moved to her station. What kind of course corrections? Sir, it looks like they can't control their ships properly in our atmosphere. The lead ship was supposed to land in Gangnam District, but it's now heading for the Han River. The pilot seems to be fighting with his controls. Private Nam Ji-woo, monitoring alien communications, suddenly heard panicked voices speaking in the alien language. Although he couldn't understand the words, the tone was clear. The aliens were in trouble. Sir, I'm picking up distressed communications from the alien fleet. They sound scared. Above Seoul, Commander Thexval gripped the controls of his flagship as it bucked and rolled through Earth's atmosphere. Something was terribly wrong. The ship's navigation systems kept showing impossible readings. The artificial gravity inside his ship was malfunctioning, making him feel strangely heavy and sluggish. Navigation report, Thexval commanded, but his voice sounded strange even to himself. Speaking felt more difficult than usual. Commander, our gravity compensators are reading massive distortions, his navigator replied, struggling to stay upright at his station. The planet's gravitational field is much stronger than our calculations indicated. Thexval had studied the data about Earth's gravity many times. The planet's gravitational force was supposed to be 9.8 meters per second squared. His scientists had assured him it was only slightly stronger than most worlds the Vorthak had conquered. But this felt completely different. All ships adjust descent profile for heavier gravity, Thexval ordered over the fleet communications. But even as he spoke, he watched 3 of his dropships spiral completely out of control. On the ground, Private Lee So-young watched through binoculars as the massive alien ship struggled to maintain flight. Sergeant, you need to see this. The aliens are crashing into the Han River. Sergeant Choi raised his own binoculars and watched in amazement as 2 enormous alien dropships hit the water with tremendous splashes. A 3rd ship managed to avoid the river but crash-landed in a park, tearing up trees and leaving a massive crater in the ground. Command, this is Observation Post 7, Choi reported. Multiple alien ships have crashed. Repeat, the aliens have crashed. They don't appear to be flying very well in our atmosphere. Captain Yang's fighter squadron circled above the crash sites. But there was no need for air-to-air combat. Half the alien invasion force had crashed before they even reached the ground. "This is Flight Leader Yang," she radioed to command. "The aliens seem to have serious problems with our gravity. Their remaining ships are barely staying airborne." In his crippled flagship, Commander Thexval finally managed to bring his ship down in what looked like a controlled crash landing in a Seoul park. As the ship settled into the ground with a grinding crash, he tried to stand up and immediately fell over. Something was very wrong. Thexval had trained in various gravity conditions for decades, but this was different. Earth's gravity felt like it was crushing him. Every movement required tremendous effort. His limbs felt like they were made of lead. "All warriors prepare for ground assault," Thexval ordered, but he could barely lift his weapon. The rifle that had felt light as a feather during training now seemed to weigh as much as a boulder. Around him, Vorthak warriors struggled to exit their crashed ships. Many couldn't even stand up properly. Those who managed to get to their feet moved like they were walking underwater. "Commander," gasped his lieutenant, "something is wrong with this planet's gravity. It's much stronger than our training simulations." Thexval realized the horrible truth. The Vorthak had studied Earth from space for over a century, but they had never actually experienced Earth's gravity themselves. Their training had been conducted on their homeworld, which had lighter gravity than Earth. All their combat practice, all their weapon testing, all their physical preparation had been done in conditions that were completely different from Earth's actual environment. On the ground, Captain Bei Jung-ho led the first human response team toward the alien crash sites. He expected to face technologically superior warriors equipped with advanced weapons. Instead, he found aliens stumbling around like they were drunk. "This is Team Leader Bei," he radioed to command. "I can see aliens moving around the crash sites, but sir, they're moving very slowly. It's like they can barely walk." Lieutenant Colonel Kim Dong-woo coordinated the response from his command vehicle. "Bei, approach with extreme caution. They might be pretending to be injured." But as Bei's team got closer to the crashed alien ship, it became clear that the aliens weren't pretending. They were genuinely struggling with Earth's gravity. Warriors who had trained for a century to conquer Earth couldn't even properly aim their weapons because their arms were too heavy to lift. "Sir," Private Oh Min-jun whispered to Captain Bei, "I think they're having trouble with our gravity. Look how they're moving." Bei watched through his scope as alien warriors stumbled and fell trying to exit their ship. Their advanced armor, which had been designed for lighter gravity, was now weighing them down like anchors. The aliens looked like they were trying to fight while wearing diving suits full of water. "Command, this is Bei. The aliens appear to be severely handicapped by Earth's gravity. Their movements are extremely slow and clumsy. They're having trouble, even standing up." In the command center, Admiral Kim couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Repeat that, Captain." "Sir, the aliens trained to fight us, but they trained in lighter gravity. They can barely move in our normal gravity. I think we might actually have an advantage here." For the first time since the alien fleet had appeared, Admiral Kim allowed himself to hope. The aliens had made a critical error. They had spent over a century studying human weapons and tactics, but they had forgotten to properly account for the battlefield itself. Earth's gravity, which humans took for granted every day of their lives, was about to become humanity's greatest weapon. Lieutenant Colonel Bei Jung-ho crouched behind a concrete barrier as his team surrounded the largest alien crash site. Through his binoculars, he watched Vorthak warriors struggling to climb out of their damaged ship. The aliens moved like they were trapped in thick mud, each step requiring enormous effort. "All teams, this is Bei," he whispered into his radio. "The aliens are definitely having serious problems with Earth's gravity. I count 20 hostiles visible, but they can barely walk. Approach with caution, but I think we have an advantage. Here." Private Lee So-young positioned herself behind a park bench, her rifle aimed at the alien ship's exit ramp. She had expected to face impossible odds against superior alien technology. Instead, she watched alien soldiers stumble and fall as they tried to establish a defensive position. "Sir," So-young radioed, "the aliens are trying to set up some kind of energy weapon, but they keep dropping it. It's like the weapon is too heavy for them to carry." Inside the crashed ship, Commander Thexval struggled to coordinate his warriors. The rifle in his hands felt like it weighed 50 kilograms instead of the 5 kilograms it had weighed during training. His armor, designed to be lightweight and flexible, now felt like a prison of heavy metal. Warriors, establish defensive positions, Thexval commanded, but his voice was strained from the effort of simply breathing in Earth's crushing gravity. Warrior Hexnall tried to aim his energy rifle at the approaching human soldiers, but his arms shook from the effort of lifting the weapon. The targeting system that had been perfectly calibrated for his homeworld's lighter gravity was now completely useless. Every time he tried to aim, the weapon dropped toward the ground. "Commander, our weapons are too heavy to use effectively," Hexnall reported. "The targeting computers cannot compensate for this planet's gravitational field." Captain Bay watched the aliens struggling with their equipment and made a decision. "All teams move in. These aliens are sitting ducks." Private Kim Subin was the first to engage. She fired a single shot from her standard military rifle, aiming for center mass on the nearest alien warrior. The bullet, accelerated by Earth's gravity, struck with much more force than the aliens had calculated in their century of preparation. The alien's energy shield flared briefly, then failed completely. The bullet punched straight through the shield and the warrior's armor, dropping him instantly. "Direct hit," Kim shouted. "Their shields can't stop our bullets." In space, the aliens had studied human projectile weapons by examining the lighter bullets that had been fired in zero gravity during space station experiments. They had never experienced the full power of human weapons fired in Earth's heavy gravity field. Corporal Nam Jiwoo threw a standard fragmentation grenade toward a group of aliens trying to set up a heavy weapon. In Earth's gravity, the grenade traveled much faster and farther than alien defensive calculations had predicted. The explosion was devastating. The aliens, whose bodies had evolved in lighter gravity, were far more vulnerable to the concussive force than they had realized. 3 warriors were killed instantly, and 2 more were too injured to continue fighting. "Holy shit," Jiwoo breathed. "They can't handle explosions in our gravity either." Commander Thexval realized that everything was going wrong. His warriors, who had trained for over a century to fight humans, were being defeated by simple human weapons. The energy shields that should have protected them were useless. The armor that should have made them invulnerable was now a burden. "All ships, this is Thexval," he gasped into his communicator. "Emergency evacuation. Repeat, emergency evacuation. We cannot fight effectively in this gravitational field." But it was too late. Human forces were advancing on all crash sites. Simultaneously, Sergeant Choi Minho led his squad against a group of aliens who had taken cover behind their crashed ship. The aliens tried to return fire, but their energy weapons kept misfiring because they couldn't hold them steady in Earth's gravity. "Suppressing fire," Choi ordered. His team opened up with automatic weapons, and the aliens couldn't even duck for cover properly. Their movements were so slow and clumsy that they made easy targets. Private Park Min-jun flanked around the alien position and threw another grenade. The aliens saw it coming, but couldn't move fast enough to escape the blast radius. In lighter gravity, they might have been able to dodge or run away. In Earth's gravity, they could only watch helplessly as the grenade exploded among them. Lieutenant Park Soo-jin coordinated the assault from the command center, watching multiple battle feeds on her screens. "Admiral, our forces are reporting complete success at all crash sites. The aliens can't fight effectively in our gravity. It's like they're trying to fight underwater." Admiral Kim Woo-bin stared at the tactical displays in amazement. Earth's supposedly primitive military was systematically destroying an invasion force that had trained for over a century to conquer them. "Time elapsed since first combat contact?" the Admiral asked. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, sir," replied Communications Officer Oh Hae-rin. At the largest crash site, Captain Yang Hye-jin had landed her fighter jet and joined the ground assault. She watched alien warriors trying to retreat back into their ship, but they moved so slowly that her soldiers easily cut them off. "This is incredible," Yang radioed to her pilots still circling overhead. "These aliens spent over 100 years preparing to fight us, but they never prepared to fight in our gravity." The few Vorthak warriors still capable of movement tried to activate their heavy weapon systems, but the energy cannons were too massive to operate in Earth's gravitational field. Equipment that had been portable in lighter gravity was now impossible to move. Commander Thexaval, barely able to stand, tried one last desperate gambit. He activated his personal shield generator and attempted to charge toward the human lines. But in Earth's gravity, his charge became a slow, stumbling walk that made him an easy target for human riflemen. Private Lee So-young took careful aim and fired a single shot. The bullet struck Thexaval's shield generator, and without the proper gravitational compensation, the device overloaded and exploded. The commander fell to the ground, defeated by the simple physics of Earth's environment. All alien resistance has ceased, reported Captain Bay. I repeat, all aliens at the main crash site are down. Some are alive but can't move. Others appear to be unconscious from the strain of our gravity. Similar reports came in from crash sites across Seoul. The Vorthak invasion force, which had been carefully planned and trained for over a century, was completely defeated in less than 6 minutes. In orbit above Earth, Fleet Admiral Kexmar watched in horror as his ground forces were eliminated. The humans weren't using any advanced technology or superior tactics. They were simply fighting in their natural environment while his warriors struggled helplessly in conditions they had never properly trained for. All ships, immediate withdrawal, Kexmar ordered. Abandon ground forces and retreat to safe distance. This planet is a death trap. On the ground, Admiral Kim received reports of the alien fleet pulling back to higher orbit. The invasion was over before it had truly begun. Combat duration from first engagement to cessation of alien resistance? Kim asked. Lieutenant Park checked her chronometer. 6 minutes and 37 seconds, sir. The 6-minute war was over and humanity had won. Commander Thexaval lay motionless on the grass in Seoul's Namsan Park, his crystalline body barely able to function in Earth's crushing gravitational field. Around him, the remains of what should have been the greatest military victory in Vorthak history were scattered like broken toys. With tremendous effort, Thexaval managed to activate his emergency communicator. His voice was weak and strained as he spoke to the fleet orbiting high above Earth. Fleet Admiral Kexmar, this is Thexaval. Mission failure. Complete mission failure. Request immediate evacuation of all surviving personnel. In the command ship, far above, Fleet Admiral Kexmar stared at the tactical displays showing the destruction of his invasion force. 50,000 warriors, trained for over a century, defeated in 6 minutes by primitive human weapons. Commander, explain what happened down there, Kexmar demanded, though he already feared the answer. Thexaval struggled to form words. Admiral, we made a critical error. We studied human tactics, human weapons, human psychology, but we never properly accounted for their planetary environment. This world's gravity is a weapon we cannot counter. The truth was devastating. The Vorthak had spent 127 years analyzing every aspect of human military capability, except the most basic one. They had trained in their homeworld's lighter gravity, tested their weapons in space, and planned their tactics for conditions that didn't exist on Earth. Our armor is too heavy, our weapons too massive, our movements too slow, Thexaval continued. The humans move normally while we can barely stand. Their projectile weapons hit harder than calculated. Their explosives are more deadly. Everything we prepared for was wrong. Captain Yang Hejin walked among the defeated aliens, her rifle ready but hardly necessary. The Vorthak warriors who weren't unconscious could barely lift their heads, let alone pose a threat. She spoke into her radio with amazement still clear in her voice. Command, this is Yang. The alien prisoners are secured, but honestly, they're not going anywhere. Most of them can't even sit up in our gravity. Medical teams arrived at the crash sites to treat both human casualties and alien prisoners. Dr. Park Min-jun examined the first Vorthak warrior brought to his field hospital and immediately understood the scope of the aliens' problem. These beings are suffering from severe gravitational stress, Park reported to Admiral Kim. Their cardiovascular systems are designed for much lighter gravity. Being on Earth is like a constant crushing weight on their entire bodies. They're not just defeated militarily, they're physiologically unable to function here. Private Kim Subin helped load alien prisoners onto transport vehicles, but the aliens could barely support their own weight. Sergeant, it's like they're trying to move through thick water. How did they think they could conquer a planet if they can't even walk on it? In orbit, the remaining Vorthak fleet began emergency departure procedures. Fleet Admiral Kexmar had seen enough. His species had conquered 17 worlds through superior technology and careful planning, but Earth was different. Earth itself was a weapon. All ships maximum distance from the planet, Kexmar ordered. Prepare long-range communications to High Command. We must warn them about this death world. The communication traveled across space to the Vorthak homeworld, carrying news that would change galactic history. High Command, this is Fleet Admiral Kexmar reporting catastrophic mission failure. Earth cannot be conquered by conventional means. The planet's gravitational field makes military operations impossible for Vorthak forces. I am declaring Earth a forbidden world and recommending immediate withdrawal from this star system. On Earth, the cleanup began immediately. Military engineers studied the crashed alien ships while scientists examined captured Vorthak technology. The aliens' weapons were incredibly advanced, but they had been designed for use in lighter gravity conditions. Lieutenant Park Soo-jin presented her after-action report to Admiral Kim. Sir, preliminary analysis shows that all alien equipment was optimized for approximately 0.7 standard gravity. Their targeting systems, weapon balancing, armor articulation, everything was designed for conditions that don't exist on Earth. Admiral Kim shook his head in amazement. They spent over a century studying us, but they missed the most obvious factor. Sergeant Oh Hae-rin asked the question that would become legendary among Earth's military forces. Sir, did they seriously spend 100 years preparing to fight us without ever considering gravity? The answer was yes, and that oversight had cost the Vorthak their entire invasion force. News of Earth's victory spread quickly through human civilization. The planet that had seemed defenseless against advanced alien technology had proven to be naturally protected by its own environment. Earth's gravity, atmospheric pressure, and environmental conditions were humanity's greatest defense system. Dr. Lee Tae-min, leading the scientific analysis of captured alien technology, made a startling discovery. The Vorthak aren't weak or poorly trained, he reported. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours, but their entire civilization evolved in lighter gravity. What's normal for us is literally crushing to them. Within weeks, captured Vorthak communications revealed the full scope of their intelligence failure. The aliens had studied human radio and television broadcasts, analyzed space debris, and memorized human military tactics. But all their observations had been made from space, where Earth's gravity couldn't affect their analysis. Commander Thexval, recovering in a human hospital under carefully reduced gravity conditions, eventually provided a complete debrief. His words became part of military history textbooks across Earth. We knew everything about your weapons and nothing about your world, Thexval admitted. We studied your wars but never experienced your battlefield. We prepared to fight humans, not to fight on Earth. The Vorthak fleet's departure from Earth's solar system was detected by every observatory on the planet. The aliens' final transmission was broadcast on all frequencies, intended not for humans but for any other alien species that might be listening. Warning to all galactic civilizations. The world designated Earth 3 is a death world. The gravitational conditions make military operations impossible for most species. The planet's inhabitants are adapted to crushing gravitational forces that incapacitate standard galactic military equipment. Earth is designated as forbidden for all future contact. Captain Bae Jung-ho, now promoted for his role in the ground combat, read the alien warning with satisfaction. They're telling the whole galaxy to stay away from us because of gravity. Gravity. The thing we live with every day of our lives. Earth's victory had come not through advanced technology or superior tactics, but through the simple fact that humans had evolved on a high-gravity world. Every step humans took, every movement they made, every breath they drew, was training for conditions that most alien species found impossible. Private Nam Ji-woo, cleaning his rifle after the brief battle, summed up the situation perfectly. So let me get this straight. They studied us for over 100 years, brought 50,000 soldiers, crashed most of their ships because they couldn't fly in our gravity, couldn't walk properly when they landed, couldn't aim their weapons, couldn't escape our grenades, and got defeated in 6 minutes because they forgot about gravity? The answer was yes, and it had made Earth the most feared planet in known space. Years later, when other alien species encountered humans in space, they would speak in whispers about the gravity demons who lived on the forbidden death world. Earth had become legendary not for its technology or its military might, but for its simple, crushing, everyday gravity. The planet that aliens had dismissed as primitive had become the one world in the galaxy that no species dared to invade.